So if you've heard anything about it in the news or whatever about the gun braces, this is a gun brace. This is designed to have a strap go around your arm so that you can shoot like this. We've cleared the gun. We know it's clear. But this right here is what everybody's fussing about because of the new rule from the ATF. Because of the new rule of the ATF, this is going away. You can't have these on here anymore. So what we're going to do is show you how to get rid of this to where you're in compliance with the law, the ATF anyway. I wouldn't consider that the law necessarily, but this is going to be taken off. We're then going to put on a pistol buffer tube, I guess. That's what we're looking for. Pistol buffer tube is going to go on, and I'm not going to use this spring and stuff. I've got a spring and system, and this one will be fine. And I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. What we're going to do here is we're going to take this apart, right? The first thing we're going to do is take the upper off the lower receiver, make it a little easier to work with, right? Because it's really hard to mess with the insides of something when you don't have it open. So we're going to pull these two pins right here and here. I'm going to take this whole top off. Notice my bolt kind of tried to fall out, my bolt carrier group. We're going to take that and move it out of the way. This is the part that you can see, all right? I don't know what all these are looking at, but we're going to try it. So right about here is where I'm going to do the work, I guess. The first thing you're going to do is in your buffer tube. See, this is your buffer. If you didn't know that, you have a buffer. And we're going to take that out. So I'm going to grab a pair of a tool. Let me see if I can find the tool. Here it is, way over here. I'm going to get me a set of punches out. This is a little cheapy set, but this works. We're going to take that punch. Doesn't matter what the punch is. I'm just going to do that right here. And then we're going to take this out. I've got a small spring. I got a spring and a buffer tube system on mine. Anyway, so here we got this castle nut. Castle nut here. Here. Anyway, castle nut's going to be taken off. I'm going to take this is a Real Avid Armors tool. I'm going to use that to take this castle nut off. You notice there are three little teeth here. The three little teeth will go into this. Then I'm going to just hold on, get a crank on it just to get it broke loose. Now, once it's loose, I'm going to pull that, but you got to be real careful. There are springs in here that like to go flying. If you don't know about them, you will find out quickly. So the first thing is there is a spring here. You can see it right there. Right in here, there's a pin. And that is the first one that's going to pop out when I start to unscrew this, but I don't want to unscrew that yet. First thing I'm going to do is grab a hold of this. This is my butt plate that actually holds the springs and stuff in. I'm going to unscrew this screw right here, like that. So I'm unscrewing the castle nut. When I do that, what that's going to do is it's going to let this butt plate, I can now release it and it slowly let it pop up. You'll actually, if you turn it just ever so slightly, right here you make a turn, it actually pulls this spring, it just pops right up, it doesn't come out, you don't lose it. We're going to sit it out of the way. There's also a pin in there. Sometimes it'll come out and sometimes it won't. There it is, it came out for me. So that pin goes with that spring. We're going to take that out. Now, as I start to unscrew this, as you can see, I hope you can see, let's see if we can get a good focus of that. So there's a spring, or that pin right there. And then we're going to take this spring right here, and we're going to get a hold of it, just put my thumb over it. We're going to move this outward, right? So we're going to go in this direction. And as we do, this spring, there's a retainer and a spring that holds your buffer in. So that's out. So all the pieces that I'm worried about are now off of this. So now I can unscrew this completely off the gun. There's no more springs to worry about it popping. And there is your brace. This isn't the actual brace. Keep in mind, I'm actually taking the buffer tube off with it, which is right here. There's the buffer tube. There's the brace. But with those, you could keep the buffer tube, but you got to keep in mind this little piece right here that allows for adjustments, that is showing you, that right there is, I'm going to put this right here like that. That's going to be something that they can get you with, because now you can replace it. You can put this back on. If you can't take this buffer tube off and put a different buffer tube on, let me show you the difference here. This buffer tube is considered a pistol buffer tube. It does not have any kind of this piece, if you'll see. And when you get that, get all that going, notice it doesn't have that. It's all round. That's intentional because we don't want that to be there. We want just this because that makes you legal. Now, this particular one has a different butt plate on it, but we're not going to use that. I'm not going to use this castle nut. I'm going to use the one I had originally, which is fine. It lets me do certain things. The castle nut's not there, but this one has a castle nut, and it has this butt plate that has holes in it for me to have quick disconnects. So, excuse me. Take castle nut off this one because I like this castle nut better. The company that makes this also makes this, actually. I cannot remember the name of the company right offhand, but I'll get that for you in the comments below. But this right here, once I get this off here, I can use that for a actual buttstock on a different gun that is more than 16-inch barrel. So I'll keep that for something else, but I can't use it for a brace. And since the gun is less than a 16-inch barrel, as you can see here, which I think is it's a 5-inch barrel, you know, you can't use the old system anymore because the ATF are shitheads. Anyway, so I'm going to put the castle nut on. You'll see this. The castles are on away from the gun itself so that you can get to them. I'm going to put that on. I'm going to put this back on. So let that slide on down as I work on it. Oh yeah, that seems to be all right. I'm going all the way to the end with the castle nut. I'll slide this all the way to the end. That way when I go to put it back on the gun, I can let it screw on, and nothing's in the way for the short term at the beginning. As I come in, I'm going to go exactly backwards of the way we did it. So I don't know if you can see that. I might zoom in on that for you. This camera. So I'm going to turn this, and as I get there, there's these two little prongs sticking out. Does this one have the prongs? No, this one doesn't have prongs. Some of them have prongs. And I want to make sure as I get them close to where I need them, that I'm ready to put my spring and my my retainer in here, my buffer retainer. I'll bring it in, make the turn, push it in. I might need a punch for this to get it down a little further. Like that. You hear that click? That means my retainer went into the little between the tongs. Now this I can't put on just yet because I have to put this pin. See which direction I want this pin, because one is a little lower than the other. All right, so there, we're going to go there. We're going to put this spring in like so. Now we're going to push down the butt plate. That holds the spring in place, and then I tighten this nut. Once I get this nut tightened, as you can, there we go, something like that. It's going to tighten by hand to this point, something like that. So if you're looking for a system, these are called pistol buffer tubes. That's what these are, pistol buffer tubes. That's what you need to put this in. I'll find you a link, a couple links in the comments below. I'm going to tighten that up with my tool. Make sure I get a good tight on. So I'm actually pushing on the pistol grip, and I'm pushing on this at the same time. Got to hit all three prongs. Squeeze like that. She's on. Now, some people will tell you to put the castle nut, that you want to stake the castle nut. You can do that. That's all up to you. I don't stake mine because I make modifications to mine all the time. So, you know, if I need to make a modification, that's fine. I leave mine unstaked. Now, the next thing you're going to do is take your spring and your buffer tube, or this is the buffer itself, I'm sorry. Spring and buffer going into the buffer, like buffer tube, like that. Right? This is now a legal lower receiver. Now, keep in mind, the lower receiver is the gun. The way, according to the ATF, this is the serialized part. Now, once we put this back on it, right, we're going to put, oh, I got the pin out there. Let me put that pin in there. Once we get this back on like this, you now have a full pistol. Now, keep in mind, it is a pistol. Keep in mind, it is empty. But you have a pistol now. You do not have a rifle anymore. You never had a rifle in the first place. You had a pistol before, but now they've changed it to where you've got this. The way the rules are stating, this is legal. If you, when you're done with this, you want to take this and you want to put it in the closet. You want to put it in the garage and the attic, any basement, somewhere in a box that it is nowhere near this. Because you do not want it construed as easily accessible to put back on. We can't put it back on right now anyway because we've done this. Because of this change, that helps you always. Now this, I wouldn't even put this with this. I would put this somewhere else so you can build another gun, because this can go on your buttstock of a 16-inch barrel gun. This not being 16-inch barrel, you can't do that. So keep in mind how the rules are changing. They're all in the limbo anyway, because they're all in the courts. There's at least 5 or 6, I think there's 25 states have joined together against this pistol brace. 25 states in a lawsuit. That's freaking awesome. If they keep that up, then you get something, you know, you get something done, because this is ridiculous. Even the short barreled rifle thing is ridiculous. These should never have been an issue. The short barrel rifle thing should have never been an issue, but they made it some issue in 1930 something. It needs to go away, and until it does, we have to follow what the rules are. Here it is. This is how I'm doing it for this one. I've got a couple other companies' pieces that I'm going to put on here. Mind you, full disclosure, I have nobody that is my sponsor, so therefore I'm buying all my parts to put on these things. Now, you know, it comes down to the rule goes away and I can go back to this, great. But right now I can't do that, and I've made it to where it's legal and not an issue. So I want you guys to like and subscribe. I want you to think about like and subscribe mine, like and subscribe my buddy who is, what is the name of yours?
Infinite Outpost.
Infinite Outpost. Infinite Outpost. And this one is mine's Random Thought Machine. You know, like and subscribe. Enjoy that stuff. That really helps the algorithms to pick us so that you can see more content like this. Guys, I appreciate it. I really don't know when the rules are going to get sorted out in the courts, but I really hope they get them sorted out soon. Have a good one.